Hey everyone, so today we are going to talk about uh, SQL Server permissions hierarchy and what is SQL Server permissions hierarchy. So I know we have talked about SQL Server principles, SQL Server securables in the past, and what a SQL Server principle is any object that try to get access to a SQL Server or a SQL Server database can be termed as a principal, and anything inside the SQL Server could be a securable. So a login could be a securable, a database could be a securable, or any table schema could be a securable. And as you can see on the screen, this is the hierarchy that I'm going to explain today. So we have SQL Server, and we can grant permissions on the SQL Server role, login, fixed object server role. At the same time, we can also grant permission at the database level. And you can see here that we have multiple databases. Databases can have schemas, or a databases can also have these objects, table, views, functions, and permissions can be granted on all of these securables. And who will be accessing it? Definitely a principal will be accessing these securables. So every SQL Server securable here has associated permissions that can be granted to a principal. Permissions on the database engines are managed at the server level, assigned to logins and server roles, and at the database level, assigned to database users and database rules. And if we talk about the model of Azure SQL DB, so in Azure SQL DB, things are a little bit different. So the database permissions are granted this way, but they don't have the server level permissions do not follow the same rule. How do we manipulate permissions? So we have a securable and we have a principal. So how do we manipulate permissions? What can be done here? So we can grant permissions. So what it means is we can let a principal access a securable, and that can be done using a grant command. So we have a table, we have a schema, we have views, stored procedures. A principal can be granted access on any of those objects, any of those securables. That's grant. Other command for granting permission is revoke. So the same way we are granting permissions, the opposite of grant is revoke. So we can also revoke permissions on all those securables. And the third command is deny. So what deny is, so you can also deny permissions on different securables. And when it means you can deny, so once you have a deny, it's difficult to grant permissions there unless you completely take off the deny. So that's about the permissions hierarchy here. And as we have gone deeper in database principles, database securables, and today we have gone deeper in database permissions, I hope to bring more content around database security in future. So that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions.